So this is the groove shadow generator for the MXXX instrument by Melda Production. Basically, you can create your own groove shadows with the system. You have 6 lanes of groove shadows, and in each of those lanes you have a lot of options to modify the groove shadow. So here's what it sounds like. And this is by me pressing a key. So if I press another key, we have a different key note. And we can use pitch bend, as well as some mod wheel. So each of these lanes features effects parameters and parameters in general to adjust the tone of the groove shadow or completely transform it. You can also enable or disable any of the groove shadows, and you can also engage a master section or an effects channel strip of effects to process all of these at once. So you have spectral, and I had tried to include the most critical parts of the spectral tool to make the most impact on the sound, and I did that for all of these kinds of effects. And then lastly, in the chain you have the master filter, so you can have everything run through the filter. And then I have a few variety of filter. And then I have a dry wet control for that as well. So we'll start from scratch. So here I am in the device version of the Groove Shadow Generator MXXX. I can click the randomizer from the global presets features, and it will randomize everything on the screen here. So the sound you just heard was transformed into that using only these parameters. It's additionally disabled a few of them. So we can kind of get an idea where we're going off in an entirely undiscovered terrain using groove shadows. This is in terms of rhythm and melody and texture. So we'll click random again. And then one thing you want to remember to do, which I forgot again, is to enable the limiter on the master MXXX plugin, because some of these, for whatever reason, they bypass the limiter. So I want to go through some more of the kind of randomization tones this is capable of. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, first let's reinitialize the system. And to do that, we would go to Device Presets and select the default preset. Each groove shadow has its own lane, and these parameters adjust high pass, low pass filter, pitch, volume, the panning, a randomizer for select parts of the instrument used to create the groove shadow, an ARP selector for selecting the kind of ARP groove, because the groove is based around MIDI that is triggering the sound. So the ARP selector goes up to 64 different versions of an ARP, and they're each different in all 6 of the groove shadows available. You also have a randomizer for the ARP, and you also have halftime, as well as the capability to shuffle the ARP. So that would be like New Jack Swing or swing in general. So you can disable any of these 6 groove shadows as needed, and then you can of course run all of these through any of these effects and adjust those effects parameters as needed to taste. Additionally, we have this global ARP tempo, which I thought was very handy because it disengages the synchronization with the DAW, so you can have a different kind of tempo than you would expect. For instance, you could half time the entire ARP from within this tool, or you could just make something very trippy and wild. So for instance, if we're starting with the basic presets, then we can simply drag the slider, and I have a transform function so that it starts a little bit faster. Otherwise, you would be dealing with 1 BPM and 2 BPM, etc. So then when you go all the way to the left, you disengage, and it syncs back up with the tempo host. You can, of course, control the host of tempo of the DAW to create a similar function, but however, this is nice to have available. It is not randomizable, so that won't be affected when you choose the randomize feature. So let's say you find a preset that you want to use for later devices. You can save them in the global presets, or you can save them in the specific device presets. So you would choose your device preset section, and then choose Add. Simply name the preset, and you're ready to go. And when we want to re-engage this preset, we would simply select it again and choose Load.